Social media has ruined a lot of this because I'm seeing even teenage girls get online saying that they want their teenage boyfriend to be buying them designer bags and purses and shoes. And it's just, I don't know when this started, but that is absolutely ridiculous. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Gonya and this is Miss Lado's message. Today's video is titled, Why is the Dating Pool Trash? So this is my second ever video. If you watched my first video, thank you so much for returning. If this is your first time, welcome to my channel. This is new, so really it's everybody's first time. So let's get into why the dating pool is absolute trash in 2025. So we are all experiencing the same thing, and I think this is a global thing because I'm seeing people from the UK, Australia, Africa, like people are just saying the same things when it comes to dating. So I don't think that it's just an American thing, but I do think that it's a little bit more heightened in the US considering just our culture and just the American culture when it comes to dating. But again, everybody is experiencing it. So because I am a lover girl, I still believe that this can be rectified, but I think that there's a lot of inner work that people have to do to be able to be somebody that people want to date, right? So I came up with 4 different categories, and I'm going to kind of give you guys a breakdown on why I think that these are the main 4 reasons that dating sucks in 2025. So number 1 is everybody has a false sense of options. People think that they have these limitless options because of the dating apps, social media, things like situationships and friends with benefits, where you're kind of hoping that one day that person will be more than just friends with benefits. Also, I find that co-ed friend groups tend to be really toxic, and people are in these co-ed friendships in hopes that one day that person will sleep with them or that one day it will become more than that. But those people are supposed to be your actual friends, not a potential partner, right? The dating apps are a major issue only because when you're swiping and you're getting all of these likes and you're getting all of this attention, that doesn't mean that it would happen in real life, right? How many times have you actually met somebody on a dating app and then you meet them in person and they're nowhere near what they seem to be on the app? Like the vibe is off, they have no swag, they have no charisma, you're just kind of like, you get the ick by seeing them in person, right? That's because social media is not real life, right? The things that we see on social media are just a glimpse of who the person really is. You can't capture somebody's essence online. So I think that these dating apps give you a false sense of, oh, I've got all this motion, when you don't really have motion in real life, right? In real life, you're lacking in a lot of ways internally, right? And sometimes even physically, because people will lie about their height and things like that. Not to mention Instagram and OnlyFans, which is a very, very toxic place for women and for men. I can confidently say, and I would bet a lot of money, that most men's Instagram have some very unrealistic standards of what women should look like. And I think that men are very underwhelmed and easily annoyed with women in real life because they expect the women that they see on the women that they try to date in real life, they want them to be like the Instagram baddies, the IG baddies. And that is not realistic. Most of those Instagram baddies have surgeries, they have fillers. They're not your average woman. That most women are average. So when a man is constantly seeing women who are just like 10 out of 10, 100 out of 10, like, women who are just completely unattainable, and you try to compare that to your average woman, she's not going to be up to par, right? So I think that plays a big role in it, in a lot of men thinking that that's what the average woman looks like, and it's just not even close. I also want to bring up OnlyFans because I found this really interesting statistics on OnlyFans, and I want to tell you guys because I think it would put into perspective how much of these like doctored and unrealistic images of women that most men are seeing. As of 2024, OnlyFans had over 350 million users, with only 4.5 million of those being creators. That means that only 1.5% of everybody using the OnlyFans app, only 1.5% are creators. So if we like scale that down to a small digestible number, let's say we're talking about 10 users in total. That means that 9 of those people are only watching one person. Isn't that kind of weird, right? So it's like a group of 10 men watching one girl show her body on this app all day long. And OnlyFans generates billions of dollars. So people are spending hours and hours and hours seeing these images and videos of women who are completely unattainable and then expecting women in real life to fulfill that again. Number two is most people in this dating pool are moving in fear and hurt and trust issues, and that goes for both genders. I think that people don't realize that successful connections require you to be vulnerable and transparent. And these are my notes. I'm just reading off to keep me in schedule. Moving in fear and having that lack of trust means that you're not going to be your organic self. And being your organic self requires you to be vulnerable, right? A lot of people don't want to be vulnerable because again, we have trust issues. We're still thinking about the person that hurt us from high school. We're thinking about even if it was your last relationship, which was a year ago, you are required to do that work to get over that. You're required to heal before you bring that to your next relationship. We have a lot of unhealed people walking around expecting to have connection and also expecting other people to heal them. And that's not how that works. I think that a lot of people are walking around as shells of themselves and expecting this like divine, life changing connection. It's just not possible because you're not even in tune with yourself, right? You've got to work on yourself to be able to connect with other people. I find that when I am constantly learning and growing and pouring into myself, I have a much easier and more fun time dating because I'm whole, right? I'm not looking for other people to fill in things that I should be filling for myself. I fill my own basket. And then if I meet somebody who is equally filling their own basket, things are just so much more fun. They're lighthearted. Like we have a great time together because we're equally yoked. But a lot of people are walking around expecting other people to take care of them emotionally, and that's not their job. Number three is the economy is really, really hard. It's hard for everyone, but it's especially hard for men because most women require men to pay for dates. And if you're a man who's going on constant dates, you've got to have some money in your pocket. So the economy is hard. And on top of being a man who's expected to provide, I absolutely understand that. And I also think that, again, social media, tying this back to social media is creating this false sense of what a man is supposed to provide for women. Social media has ruined a lot of this because I'm seeing even teenage girls get online saying that they want their teenage boyfriend to be buying them designer bags and purses and shoes. And it's just, I don't know when this started, but that is absolutely ridiculous and that's not realistic at all. So I definitely feel for some men because I think a lot of women don't know who they're dating. You can expect those things if you're dating a man with means and a man who has that and a man who can do that for you, right? But we have teenage girls who are 21, 22, dating other 22-year-olds, expecting him to just pay her bills and buy her designer clothes. And that's just not realistic. And that's another thing that social media has started and made to seem okay. With all that being said, let me give you a couple of statistics that I found interesting because I do understand both sides and I don't want to sound like I'm harping on either side. So this is from the New York Times, and this statistic is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and they say that men's labor force participation has declined. The share of men working or looking for work has steadily declined, while the share of women working has rapidly climbed. Of men ages 25 to 54, 89% are in the labor force, down from 94% in 1975. So that number has gone down 10%. Of women that age, 78% are in the labor force, up from 55% in 1975. And since then, it's just climbed up, right? So I'm wondering what's going on there. Another statistic says that women outpacing men in college attendance. This is from National Center for Education Statistics. This also is in the New York Times article, and I'm going to share this article as well. Women also outnumber men in college enrollment, which is linked to broader career prospects and higher earnings. So, meaning if more women are going to college and more women are joining the labor force, we are going to need men of equal uh, value and status to date, right? You're going to want to date your peers. So, if you are in the corporate world as a woman and there's not enough men to date, you don't have options, that's a problem, right? So I also believe that that is a problem in the dating world right now. a lot of people are not finding people who are their peers to date. So overall, there's a discrepancy in financial earnings in millennials and Gen Z, career goals and ambition, and all of those things are required for compatibility in long-term relationships. Again, you're going to want to date somebody who is your peer when it comes to career, finances, ambition, all of that. Last but not least, there is a major rise in anti-intellectualism. And anti-intellectualism contributes to the lack of emotional connection in these relationships and how we're not able to connect with each other. People are not able to connect because they don't know how, right? There's an article from the American Psychological Association called Cultivating Empathy. And one of the main things they put in there is that you need to open a book to help build your empathy. Reading helps build your empathy because you have to connect with the characters, right? You have to put yourself outside of your shoes for once. Something they mention is that if you are of a certain race, to read books with characters from other races so that you can kind of try to put yourself in their shoes. Again, this is a quote from the article. To understand stories, we have to understand characters, their motivations, interactions, reactions, and goals. It's possible that while understanding stories, we can improve our ability to understand real people in the real world at the same time. The more one practices empathy by relating to fictional characters, the more perspectives one can absorb while not feeling that one's own is threatened. The foundation of empathy is to have the willingness to listen to other people's experiences and to believe they're valid. You don't have to deny your own experience to accept someone else's. This is major for dating because I think we are very lacking when it comes to conflict resolution in relationships. I think that we have a very hard time understanding each other without thinking that somebody is attacking you or without thinking that somebody is trying to invalidate your experience. We all are entitled to our own experience and our own feelings. Another good way to help you build your empathy is to surround yourself with people who aren't like you, going out into the real world and communicating with people, connecting with your community, learning how to be a friend, how to be a partner, a helper, if you want to be a husband or wife, be around other people who are husbands and wives, things like that. You have to put yourself out there and you have to, again, be willing to listen to other people and be humbled a little bit. So to close this out, yes, the dating pool is trash, but it's because a lot of us have not worked on ourselves. I want you to ask yourself these 5 questions if you feel like you are dealing with a bad dating pool. I want you to ask yourself these questions because maybe you're contributing to it. So, number one, do your parents have a toxic relationship or marriage? And if they do, have you ever talked to them about what went wrong or why their relationship dynamic is the way that it is? Are you pouring into yourself, your career, school, etc., fitness? Because if you're not pouring into yourself, that's a problem. I don't have to go into that. Do you have a plan for your life? Or do you expect somebody to come into your life romantically and then make a plan for you or with you? You should already have a plan for your life and be focused on your life. And when somebody comes in, you will know whether or not they're adding to it or if they're throwing you off track, right? That's how you'll know if the person is for you. Do you watch spicy content? And if you do you find yourself constantly annoyed or underwhelmed by people in real life? If that's the case, you may have an addiction and you may need to address that because in order for you to connect and have a successful time dating, you got to fix your mind a little bit because whether you like it or not, spicy content is rewiring your brain and it is not healthy and it's creating a warped sense of what people are like in real life. But that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is Miss Lado's message.